Okay, this morning we're going to be having a discussion over professional development. So if you could just take a few seconds to introduce yourself and tell us what you teach and how long you've taught.
Megan Stinson, I teach 7th grade ELA, this is my 5th year.
Taylor Bailey, I teach 7th and 8th grade ELA, this is my 3rd year.
Erica McFarland, 7th grade ELA, and this is my 4th year.
Sharon George, 7th and 8th grade math. This is my 7th year teaching, and I'm a math department head, and I just graduated with my educational leadership cert.
McKenna Baxter, 7th grade math, teaching for 1 year.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. I've prepared 11 questions. I'll put each question up on the board for you. You'll get 30 seconds of think time, so you can jot down your responses or your thoughts on your piece of paper. And then we will start with Megan. She'll get 30 seconds to share her thoughts and ideas. And then we'll open up the floor for about a minute for everyone to respond or ask questions and just discuss. And then we'll move on to our next question. Do y'all have any questions? All right, let's get started. So our first question is, why is professional development important? We have about 10 more seconds to plan. Do you want more time? Okay. Okay, Megan, whenever you're ready, we're going to give you 30 seconds of uninterrupted time. The floor is yours, and you can give us your thoughts.
Okay, a couple things I jotted down. Basically, I think that it's important because it not only helps us improve ourselves as teachers, but I think the biggest thing is like we're constantly learning something. Whether that's something new that the district is pushing out, or it's a new, something that goes with our curriculum, it's something that we're learning in a way to improve ourselves. Because you don't want to remain the same, you don't want to be doing the same things over and over again, because we're teaching our kids how to kind of keep that growth mindset, and we also need to have that growth mindset.
Okay. Do y'all want to add on to that? Do you have any questions for her? Your own ideas?
I agree with her. I think that professional development is so important because there's always new research and new resources. The education field is growing and changing all the time. So we want to make sure that we don't fall behind on all the new cool things that we can use in our classrooms.
I mean, I've only taught 4 years, but even in the 4 years, I've changed so much. And I think it's important so that you don't stay stagnant in like your strategies and your tactics and how you handle lessons and all of that. So I think that's important. Plus, you get to hear new ideas, I feel, from other colleagues, especially when you get in professional development settings where you have different campuses, because they might do things totally different, and so you kind of learn different ways of doing your lessons. So, yeah.
That's a great point.
I agree with all of that, and just to add on to that, I also think it's important to build our campus culture and our climate. Just as a future principal, just thinking about my own campus, it's if everyone on our campus doesn't have that same sense of culture, it's really important to kind of just reiterate and let's work on this. Let's even to model something like that, I think is really important. So
Yeah, I agree with you guys too. I think that no matter how many years of teaching experience you have, that there's always room to grow and improve. And along with what you said about the collaboration piece, every teacher has different strengths, and so you might be going to something that your colleague might not be interested in, but you might learn something that's useful to help that colleague too. So I think it's great for collaboration as well.
totally.
Awesome. Okay, our next question. What makes professional development enjoyable for you personally? Give y'all 30 seconds to plan. Blake, we're gonna start, so whenever you're ready.
I enjoy professional developments that are pretty hands-on. I like to be able to discuss and collaborate with my peers. Just like my kids, if I have to sit and listen and focus, that's hard for me. I like to learn about new things that are relevant, especially to my subject area, but relevant to my campus, whether that's cultural proficiency or something like that. So that's what I enjoy.
Awesome. Okay. Anyone else wanna add on to that?
I don't know, I like there to be some depth, so I don't wanna just be talked at, I wanna kind of play with it and be able to process it and talk about it, especially if it's something new. Because if I'm expected, especially to use it, whatever it is that we're implementing, I want some time to be able to see what maybe pitfalls are or any questions I have, that might come up, so.
Yeah, and I feel like that's some of the things that I'm frustrated about is like they want our classrooms to be truly engaging and, you know, have the kids engaged constantly, but then our presentations that we get are just like, hey, it's, you know,
Sitting
it's not like, you know, show us the way we need to be versus just tell us this is how you need to be. And then I love like when our professional developments are like, you know, cross-curricular, like where we can actually talk to other teams and just get some great ideas. Because sometimes when it's just math, you know, it's kind of like we're in this like math zone, but then there's so many great ideas out there. So I really love that.
Yeah, I like when it's active and like for instance, I know some of these social studies and their PDs, they actually get to go to like courthouses or museums and they really get to be in that environment of, oh, you know, this is kind of along with the curriculum. And so I think for other content areas, it'd be nice to actually have more real world examples and not just sitting in a room and listening to a presentation. I also like the diversity of being able to choose like what you get to go to, whether it be just like the basics of something, because some people might not be on that level versus like the more advanced PDs. So.
I put very simply, realistic is greater than idealistic. I don't like when they give us this idea, it's very abstract, it's very, we were thinking about this and those people haven't been in the classroom. It really bugs me when it's this big idea that they haven't thought through those concrete details and they kind of leave it up to us, like, well, how are you going to do it in your classroom? But it's like, I need ideas, I need somebody to kind of like, I need to process it, I need to talk to somebody about like, how could I implement that in my class? So
That's I was waiting for someone to say realistic, because like for me, I want something realistic. You know, I want to be able to say it's realistic for a group of 30 7th graders to sit in a class and do this activity and understand the content. I don't know if everyone was here when LASD did that book study for the energy bus.
Yeah.
Was everyone here for that? Okay.
No.
No. Okay.
recap.
So the message of the book was great. I think sometimes like it was a little cheesy, but I love doing the book study as, and maybe that's like the reader in me that's loving that. But I just thought that was such a great, just a great way to learn. And maybe it's because I'm thinking as a future administrator, but like one thing that they're telling us is you just need to be reading lots of different books that you can apply to yourself professionally. So I love that. And I've heard some other people in the district said that their campus will do that, and they'll get hours for it. I would love to do more of that. I don't
Book studies.
Book studies, yeah, that would be
Right,
great.
so I just think it's so cool, and like kind of like what you said, it helps with culture, and you know everyone's reading the same thing, and everyone might not agree about what they're reading, but at least everyone's
You had some great conversations on
right.
that.
Everyone's
Yeah.
heard the same ideas. So. Okay. Anything else y'all want to add on to that question? Okay. So what types of professional development would you like to see more of? Is there something that you wish LASD would offer more, or maybe something that they haven't offered that you've heard of other districts doing that you would be interested in? About 10 more seconds. Okay, Erica, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so when I attended the TCEA conference, we fell in love, because McKenna was there, with the escape bus. We were just all over it. We're like, this was so awesome, and they said it'd be great for professional development, and I was like, yeah, it would. So, I don't know, some thinking outside the box, because with that experiment that we went through, it was so heavy on communication and teamwork, and it was just a great and creative way to do some more team building. I feel like there needs to be some buy-in, just like with our kids. There needs to be some buy-in, and you need to be able to know the people that you're talking to, and I think you'd be more respectful when you're sharing things and ideas, because you know where everyone's coming from. But it was just really great. So I don't know, just something outside the box a little bit. And also just speakers. I know Megan, you kind of touched on, we kind of want other teachers to tell us, like, what are you doing, what are you an expert in? I mean, there's even some people on this campus that are certified for certain things, and I had no idea. Like, I can't remember which teacher, but she's like, yeah, I'm like a Google expert certified, whatever the heck that is. And I was like, that's awesome to know, because then I can go to you for that. And so kind of making our teachers more like leaders on certain expertise that they have.
Yeah.
And using us as a springboard for sessions and like creating something.
I like what you said about like maybe not so much content focused professional development, but a little bit more like team building and communication, collaboration, working together.
So we expect our kids to have those kind of 21st century skills, so we should be still like bettering ourselves in those as well. I said the opposite of you. I said more content area, and I kind of touched on McKenna's when she said that his history needs to go to courthouses and things like that. That kind of sparked something in my head of how fun would it be for ELA to go to a poetry slam, to go to a writer's circle where they're talking about how they write, or a play, or getting to meet an author. Something where it's real world connections, and we can see somebody's passion and we can implement that into our class. I just think that would be so cool. We're kind of stuck in this sitting in a room, listening to a teacher, lecturing. Even with speakers, I do like inspirational speakers, but for the most part, we're expected to sit and listen, and then we're told, don't you dare do that in your classroom.
Well, and like, what's the first thing what's the first question when you get to professional development? It's what time is lunch?
Right.
You know, I think that's horrible. That's obviously not
I want to
the
be
point.
so engaged that I'm like, I haven't eaten in 7 hours, and I have
It's not that
Like realistic, really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I said for math, I've been to some really great trainings. I used to be in Dallas ISD before, but we had like outside, like people from other states come in and just say, we're gonna send you on like this 5-day training, and then it was like now the PDs are just so crammed. They're like, okay, we have all this stuff to get through, but we only have 6 hours, so we're gonna just shove everything down your throat, and then we're like, okay, like, we don't get anything. So I wish it was longer. And on the other hand, I know there's a lot of training out there, like Region 10 and other regions that do great ones, but we don't get a lot of exposure. Like we don't even know about it and stuff. So there almost needs to be like better communication, maybe from the district, just saying, they're checking out these awesome trainings. Feel free to sign up if you'd like. But right now it's just like LISD stuff. And then the other thing I said was just, we have cultural proficiency, like you said, but it's only a few hours.
Yeah.
And our district is just so diverse. There's so many teachers who have no idea about so many things, and it's just like mind-boggling to me, just because I'm from India and I'm exposed to a lot of culture. So it's just, I wish there was more of that as
Well,
well.
and like you said, we only have 6 hours, so when we do talk about cultural proficiency, it's surface level,
Uh-huh.
it's quick, it's you make sure you're doing it in your classroom. Okay, now let's move on.
Yeah.
So we're not going into the depth that you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Exactly, and I think if you asked a teacher, like, tell me the ways that you're making your classroom culturally proficient, I think the majority, and it's no one's fault, but I think the majority of teachers would say, I have no idea, just because we're not getting enough of that kind
Well,
of
and
stuff.
I kind of feel like I don't even know who's in my class. Like
Right.
I don't know. I loved the training that we did I don't remember when we did it, but about all the cultures at Killian and like what's respectful and what's not,
Oh,
and
yeah, that was
how
fun.
to. Yeah, and I felt like I learned a lot about my kids and that I might be doing something that I didn't even know could be construed as disrespectful or something like that. So I agree, and I'm a team building person, so I would love to see more team building,
Yeah.
communication, people.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything, McKenna?
I mean, the only thing I wrote down was team building because I was also going to talk about escape the bus. I almost wish we could have done something like that at the beginning of the year because I think it's important as a department and as a team to have, you know, a relationship, a close relationship, and learn how to communicate. And that was fun too. You know, we were actually active and thinking and doing something versus just sitting there and being told what to do. So I think that more hands-on and active PDs are very helpful.
Yeah. Do y'all remember when we went to, it was one time, we've got to do it one time, and I know that there's some other schools on the other side of the district that do this every summer, but when we went to Main Event,
Yes.
that was so much fun. And like really and truly, I think everyone kind of went like with their person, you know, that you're always with at school, but just to see your coworkers in a completely different environment is a learning experience in and of itself.
Well, you don't have a goal. You don't have a learning goal. You don't have something that you need to talk about like a field trip.
Yeah.
So you're able to like relax and just enjoy each other's company, which
Yeah.
builds relationships that way.
And I feel like LSU tried that with, what was that, the big race, or what did we do?
Oh, the
Amazing Race.
The Amazing Race, but it was like everybody.
I don't want to think about it.
I mean, like the
Yeah.
idea was good, but it was everyone that we don't really know. So
Right.
it's like it's hard to kind of build.
It was
Yeah.
too
anything.
big.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
too
too
big. It
Yeah.
would have been more condensed. Like
Yeah.
maybe just
With the school, with
Within
our
your
school.
campus.
Yeah.
Within our
It
campus
would
would
be
be
great.
great, just around our school to do a scavenger hunt, or even like within the neighboring communities.
I was
to
gonna
go
say,
into
like,
our kids' neighborhoods.
Yeah,
would be
yes.
so fun. They would be terrified that we were out there.
Our first year when we got to drive through where our kids live, that was awesome too.
Yeah.
It was
We
really
had never
overrated.
done that before, and I think
That
that
was
was
my
our
first year.
third year,
Yeah.
right?
It
Or
was
was
my
that?
first year.
Yeah,
it
and
was
like
our first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and
This
like
year.
even being here for 3 years, you know, you kind of think you know about the neighborhoods, but actually going into them was really eye opening and awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next question. So we're talking more about PLCs, which we just started here. So what do you, Killian, what do you think would make your PLC more effective? And you can think of the word effective as however you want. Okay, Sharon, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, so this topic is, I almost want to like sit this one out just because, as department head, we had to be the ones to initiate PLCs on campus. So for me, I really would like to hear what everyone else has to say, but my biggest thing is buy-in. I think I just want to create more of a buy-in of why we do this, why we need to do this versus we need to do this. Like, you have to do this, just suck up and do it. I need more buy-in is what I think is going to be really important.
I'm obviously new to the whole PLC thing. I guess from my experience, we just used it as planning lessons, and I think it's important to have more collaboration in the sense to like analyze data and see, oh, well, she might be teaching it this way, I need to do this too, or like see where, the strengths and weaknesses are versus like through the different teachers, I guess. Again, I would rather hear y'all's ideas because it's new to me, so I'm not so
Well, it's
sure.
interesting to hear a first year
Yeah.
teacher's perspective too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's new for at
All
least
of
people
us.
who's been at
Yeah.
Killian because we've never done PLCs.
Yeah.
At my
True PLCs.
At my previous school, we did it once a month and we got half a day. And I felt like it was a lot. It was a lot. I also put on here the way that we do it now once a week for 80 minutes is also a lot for me. I would like to break it up into maybe smaller chunks of time, more times a week. So maybe meeting twice a week instead of the once a week for a shorter amount of time. I also put in my perfect world, I'd love to meet all of ELA.
Yeah.
Get to talk to 6th grade, get to talk to 8th grade, see what they're doing. Vertical.
Yeah.
I know the one time, and I guess it was an unofficial PLC, when we did the STAR data and like we looked at everything like for writing and stuff, I felt like we left with, we took time and looked at the data, and now here's how I'm gonna implement new changes in the classroom. And so just like almost having like goals, okay, I'm looking at all these numbers, but what, like having a focus and a little more of a structure in that sense that I need to go in with some kind of mindset. What is my target? And so like for us, it was, well, they're gonna be doing, writing STAR and revising and editing, and what are those hot points that we need to talk about? What are those topics? And then we did, in fact, implement that in the lessons that we taught thereafter, and I felt like we saw some improvement, and we felt like,
100%.
yeah, and we felt like our time was well spent in the PLC as well as in the classroom because we were being intentional. So
I put data, period. It was great to learn how to analyze data, because when I hear math people talking about data, I'm like, what? As an ELA person, but my brain does work that way. And going in and looking at STAR data from last year, that was a great way to learn how to do it. Of who got most of that question right, who missed it, who was split, and looking at what was that teak and kind of figuring that out. But I next year would really like to apply that to classroom as well. Not just looking at STAR data, but like bringing in writing samples and even just like short answer stuff, like our little EQs that we do and stuff, our interpretive responses, quizzes, tests. It was nice that we put our midterm online
That was nice.
because we could see that, and I kind of want to start doing that more because it's so easy.
Morning, Mustangs. Please pardon this interruption. At this time, if all Circle of Friends going on the field trip, please be released and sent down to Miss Merritt's room. All Circle of Friends attending today's field trip, please report to Miss Merritt's room.
Sure.
So
Okay. It's okay.
the training that we went to was just so good because not only is it looking at data, there's so many other protocols where there's like tuning and stuff, so you can evaluate like an assessment that somebody has created, and like you could not even just with your department, you could have like science people and math people and whatever take your test and like be able to see, well, this doesn't make sense to me, and you can be like, well, I never thought of it that way, and things like that. And I just feel like if teachers also had exposure to what those protocols look like, I think it'd be even better than just department heads going and just saying, well, this is how we do it, and this is what you need to
Are
do.
they planning on sending us?
They're gonna send team leaders.
Are they just sprinkling people and eventually everybody will go to it?
I don't know if everyone's gonna go, but I know that they're gonna send or they talked about sending team leaders, but like this summer in service, like we're gonna kind of train y'all
Got it.
over that. But kind of going along with those protocols, something that we talked about those 3 days of training was really for PLCs to be effective, we need time. And not time in the sense of we need to meet for 90 minutes once a week. We needed this year to figure out, okay, what does it look like for the 4 of us or the 3 of y'all to sit down and meet?
Oh my god.
And then, and so now we kind of know what that's like. And so then, maybe next year we give ourselves until December to say, okay, we're gonna try a different protocol each month. So that's kind of all I wanted to say on PLCs is we just really need time, and I don't think admin really expected us like the first time to sit down and analyze our midterm data and then make a goal. But at the same time, it was kind of like, okay, y'all have PLC time, like get together and meet,
And there was no like, this is what it is,
Right.
this is what you're
Yeah.
supposed to
right.
do with it, which is, I like to be told, this
Yeah,
is what
I
it
need
is.
explicit directions.
Yes. Yeah. You wanna add?
Yeah, something just came to my mind. So when I was student teaching, the school that we were at, they had a class period that was PLC every single day, and it was all of the whole department together. And so what they would do is they would say, today is 6th grade's day, and so 6th grade would pull up what they were about to learn, and then the 7th and 8th grade teachers were in there to like help them say, oh well, then they're
That's
expected
cool.
to know this in
That's
7th, they're
That's
expected
really
to know this in 8th.
Teachers, please
pardon this interruption. We are working on the sound system this morning, so you may periodically have music in the rooms and the hallways. I apologize for that. We are trying to get ready for this afternoon. So please excuse the noise, and I apologize. Hopefully we'll get that done as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Okay,
I love that idea.
yeah, that
You
is
didn't
great.
tell our admin about that, please.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, so now switching to team, which I'm sure y'all don't really have a ton to say.
Because basically perfect.
Yeah, because it's run like a well-oiled machine. But if you, in a perfect world, if you can make any changes, or if you wanted things to be more effective, how would we do that? Okay, are you ready? Okay. This is a safe spot.
I'm gonna judge you silently, but
No, we're not.
Just kidding.
Well, again, with this being my first year to have team time, I guess coming in with, having such a big team, I wish beforehand, like, we could have done a team building thing. Like, I wish I could have gotten to know you guys better before, coming in and just talking about classes and students and stuff. And so I just wish that there could be, like, more stronger relationships between teams. That's my only suggestion.
Okay, awesome.
Well, coming from like what it was last year with having 2 teams and then trying to communicate between the teams, I felt this year was way better. I think the agenda is awesome and like following the agenda so that we're not like wasting time. Setting up the norms I thought was really good too this year. Overall, I think it went much better than previous years, so I liked it a lot more. I agree with McKenna, if we could all like come together. Yeah.
Summer.
And get to know each other outside of work.
Yeah. We were actually talking about when we met up with Kelsey, I mean Christina for Kelsey's birthday. I think you had already left, but Dibble was talking about his daughter, and I had mentioned to him, like, I can't picture you like in dad mode, because I see him as a teacher and as a coach, and so I was like, when he's like, she's coming this summer, I was like, that'd be so fun if we all just like got together and like, if you have kids, you bring your kids, and because like as far as building relationships, like to see people as like a mom or a dad or a husband or wife or whatever, it's just different than seeing them every day. So that would be really fun.
I want to be a part.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be on your team.
You're anyone else?
Yeah, I said, and I don't know, like, right now it's team is like, we do like blah, 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 like it's like a to-do list almost. And I don't know if we can make it more PLC oriented, just because we see team more than we do departments. And so it's just, there's so many great ideas just on our team, and maybe sharing like, this is the best practice that I do in my class that works so well for me. And, I don't know if we can have like a day set aside for that. We don't do that every day.
Yeah.
But just like,
Good
it's
idea.
just,
It's a really good idea.
Just like sharing lessons and stuff?
yeah, sharing lessons, or this is what I do in my class and it works really well for me, just pick one thing that works really well for you.
Yeah.
Something
Sort
like
of
that.
like a mini brown bag,
Yeah,
kind of
just
thing.
anything.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I just put literally like teacher involvement, and I think it's just because like we don't want to. I mean, the team leads are there to lead us. However, I feel like we all need to play a part in the team and bring something to the table. And so, doing maybe something like that would help kind of highlight our strengths in a sense, because where where I'm weak, someone else can be in my team picks up that slack. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone else?
I just said and I'm guilty of this too, but I feel like a lot of the time, because team was so big, there was a lot of people checking out and doing individual things, which I sometimes did too. I answered an email, or I forgot to take roll or whatever, and so a lot of the time we didn't have 100% just like participation or anybody like listening, and that got really frustrating because we're talking about a kid and only 2 teachers are listening and 4 teachers have the kid. You know, it got to a point where I was like, I need like get off your computers or whatever. And those are those norms we talked about. This is our first year to really set that up. This is our first year as a big team. So there's a lot of like what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to do next year. I like these ideas of team building, and also we do have some gaps where we're not working on a field trip, we're not working on awards, and we have that time
How to fill it.
that we could be filling it with something positive or some, you know, teacher highlighting kind of thing. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Something I'm going to take for next year.
Awesome. Oh, okay. So professionally speaking, what areas are your strengths?
Can I write for 4 minutes?
So think about answering this question as either, you know, a teacher, a team member, a colleague, a department head, team leader. Did I already say that? You know what I mean. Okay, Megan, I'm gonna go ahead and stop you. And you are gonna share first. You have 30 seconds only.
How could I possibly? So I started with just my teacher strengths. I think the 2 things I do well is I'm really good at planning and executing. A lot of people come up with great ideas. I'm not really the idea person. I'm more of I can take an idea and I can break it down and I can put it into practice. I'm really good at that. With being more of a leader in a leadership position, I think one of my strengths is I'm very to the point. I don't like wasting people's time. I don't like, you know, flowery language or talking a lot. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, even if that's through an email. And I don't do it rudely. I'm short and to the point. I'm curt. But I don't like when my time is wasted, so I like to put that also to other teachers. I don't need to just have this long conversation with you and then finally tell you what you need to know. So,
Okay.
I guess with me, I focus on relationships with my students, especially. I feel like that's one of my strengths is in the classroom is getting to know my kids and really understanding who they are as a person. And I feel like that helps me as a teacher being able to teach these kids once I know who they are outside of school, outside of the academics. And as far as the team, I feel like I contribute to the team by taking minutes. I think I'm really good at it.
so good at it.
I've had a lot of training in my minute taking abilities. Yes.
We're gonna miss you next year.
I'm devastated.
Sorority paid off somewhere. So, and I feel like I always try to do where I can, and
Definitely.
so I feel like those are my strengths.
Awesome.
My team, especially LA, would know I like taking risks. I will try new things. I will dive in if I don't even have all the answers, and I'm like, let me see how it goes. And they'll say, yeah, let us know how it goes, and then we'll fix it. That's
Very true. It's so great.
So I do. I go with the mindset, if I'm bored, then my kids are totally bored. And if my first probably year or 2, I was really hesitant about if something wasn't working, it felt awkward for me to tell the kids like, oh, I messed up, like, let's stop. Now I'm to the point that I'm like, I'm trying something new, this may not work, so I feel like honest with the kids. I'm pretty transparent about, we're gonna try this, and if it doesn't work, we may not do it again, and that's okay. And so I think that helps me when I'm taking those risks because the kids know that we're all learning, and then it gives them an opportunity to like tell me what they notice. And so I feel like I'm pretty good about also getting feedback from them. And then I have a lot of hats at Killian, and so I feel like I try my best to compartmentalize things and organize things and keep everything kind of in order so things don't fall through the cracks. So I would say those are my strengths.
You can share yours, and if you need to go after, you can
Okay,
go.
great. I said as a teacher, I don't know, I think classroom management is one of my strengths just because, again, I started in Dallas and I had to be extra hard or like go home pretty much. It was just so when I first got to Killian and when I just saw kids just like milling about and nobody's watching them, I'm just like, what's going on? It's like freaking me out, but you know, kids are fine here. But so classroom management, I think I'm a little hard with the kids. I always start out really hard, and I kind of, you know, ease up a little bit towards the end of the year. And then I think I'm also really good about making all my math lessons really relevant, because the kids are always like, how do I use this in real life? So I have a good way of really like connecting that for them. And then as department head, I don't know. I think I'm just kind of organized, and I have like a to-do list, and I kind of go through that, and then that kind of makes, you know, life work. Otherwise, I think I go crazy.
Like Erica, one of my strengths is trying new things. I think that growing up and even now, I feel like math is a lot of people's most hated subject, and that kills me. And so I, you know, as a teacher, I almost like take on the challenge to always look for new things and to try to make it fun. And I just like to try things and see how they go, and then what that's shared to other people. I am also big on relationships too. I think I'm pretty good at the empathy part of being a teacher and kind of being that counselor that comes along with being a teacher too. And then as far as a team player, I am dependable, and when somebody asks me to do something, I do it. So.
Okay, well, I think that's the perfect way to end our discussion. Thank you so much for your time. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. So thank you. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.
I'm glad we didn't go for weaknesses.
There are none.
This is what I would read off of.
Thanks, Chief.